Oh, hello everybody. Dr. Freedom here. Like, Dr. Freedom, where you been? Working overtime, that's where I've been. Uh, Plus, the weirdness of the auto industry, you gotta enjoy it. Um, yeah, I'm just popping in right now because there's not really a whole lot going on other than Eccleston's big thing in Doctor Who magazine. Plus they're talking about a Cyberman story on Big Finish with Chris Eccleston. And Dalek Sec is up for auction. Scary, ain't it? The original, yes, Dalek Sec prop apparently has gone up for sale. Um, Also, I noticed online, somebody, we won't mention any names, jumped up claiming that they've gotten some kind of leak regarding future series of Doctor Who, and how there's going to be a basic somehow concept reboot. And I'm like, that happens every time they put a new Doctor in. Duh. It's every time they do that, it's basically a reboot in a way of the series because you're bringing in a whole new lead actor. Chances are they'll probably change the interior of the TARDIS again. And, well, it's evening here. Hello there. Hi there, everybody. It's about quarter after 5 in the evening. I was going to do a video, but I'm like, you know, there's been a lot of rumors. Who are they rumoring now? If you got a name, throw it at me. I'll see if I've got anything in my notes. It's just I've been so busy lately doing other stuff. I've just been, oh man. Okay. What's the latest? Anybody? You tell me, because like I said, there's some things I'm still out of the loop on. So okay. All right. Well, whose books, when you get around to that, let me know. Yeah. Let me know what you've heard. Somebody out of Line of Duty, can't remember her name. Okay, Line of Duty. I've heard of that series, but I've never watched it. So let's take a gander, shall we? Let's see. Line of Duty. Let's see who we got on the docket here. I wish I could share screen on this, but like I said, one of these days I got to sit down and just dig my brain completely into doing streaming like on StreamYard, things like that, because I want to start sharing images with you guys and all that, so that way you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, let's go to all right, line of series. Oh, I hate IMDb. Okay, oh, here we are. I'd rather go to Wikipedia. Okay, we got a cast list starring Vicky McClure. Is it her? Well, she would be interesting if they're done with that series. Yeah, Vicky McClure. Keely Hawes has been on the show before. Yeah, remember she was the lady in charge of the bank in Time Heist. And I see, yeah, that's what I heard today, that Thandi Newton's going by Thandiwe now, so we got to remember that. Apparently, she's decided to go back to her name's African origin, which is good for her. Come on, it's the name you were born with. Why not be proud? There's Kelly MacDonald, who's Scottish. I don't know. Hey, let me get back to the screen. I'm probably missing all this stuff. So, all right, Kelly MacDonald is her? Okay. Because, all right, let's take a look, shall we? I was just on there. What happened? Okay. Okay, Kelly MacDonald. So the Scottish lady. All right, let's see what she's got. All right, born 76. So she's about 5 years younger than me. All right. She was in Train Spotting, Nanny McPhee, Boardwalk Empire. She's got a really good resume here so far. No Country for Old Men. I remember that one. That was kind of a creepy movie, Okay, so I could see it. It's possible, yeah, she's got a career going back to Train Spotting in 96. Television, same, 96. Video game. Oh, she was in video games. She played Merida in Brave on the video game. See, a lot of awards. Yeah, but I bet certain others will say she's not qualified and or does not foot the bill. Oh, hello, Hakeem. How you doing? It's just a rumor, Philip. Don't panic yet. My theory was, even if they did go back to a male doctor for number 14, I don't think they'd go Caucasian. Now that we're trying, new things and all that, because God forbid they put an American in there. Oh, Oh no. Matter of fact, yeah, I died. I as an April Fool's joke, I put up that picture of Karen Gillan with the guy who was doing the motion capture for the dog of Recall of the Wild. Said she was the new 14th Doctor and she was going to have a pet CGI dog named Pookie. uh, but yeah, like I said, my guess was if they did go male again, I don't think they go Caucasian. I really don't. I think they go for something a bit more exotic. Just while we're doing new things, let's throw something else new in there, like a black doctor. Why not? Like I said, I'll support anybody who has the courage to take on that role and that responsibility. Yeah. I decided to go live tonight because, for one, their only news there was out there was, oh yeah, Eccleston's doing a Cyberman story for Big Finish. Oh look, he was in Doctor Magazine. No, but we've already heard just about everything we needed to hear from Eccleston as far as interviews go. He already told us what happened to him after the show. He's already told us, but I'm just really, really glad that he's agreed to at least come back on Big Finish. I really am, because, there's so much more ground that we can cover with the Ninth Doctor. Who's to say that Rose was his first stop after regenerating? A lot of people made that assumption because he looks in the mirror and makes this weird face when he goes into Rose's apartment all the way back in the first episode of this new series in 2005, Rose. But it may not be the case because Big Finish already had some previous adventures on him that was voiced by somebody else. And so, you never know. But like I said, if there's any questions you want to ask, so we know we got the Sontarans coming back, Weeping Angels. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen the Ninth Doctor. That might have just made Day of the Doctor better for me. If at least been the Ninth Doctor in there with the War Doctor and all that. I would have liked to have seen that. All right, played Luther. Now, Idris Elba has already said he will not touch the role with a 50-foot pole. No, I made a rhyme. Okay, that's scary. Now, he's already been asked multiple times if he'd consider doing it, and I believe he said no. They were lucky to get him back for that extra season of Luther, that special he did, because Idris was, doing movies at this point, and he doesn't. I don't see why he would want to go back to television unless it was something he was. All right, Kelly MacDonald. Okay, definite. I don't know. Like I said, she's got a really good pedigree from what I've read, and like I said, everybody looks at me crazy. I'm like, I'll support anybody who goes to that console and takes those controls. I don't care if you're like 7-year-old armadillo from the backwaters of Texas. If you've agreed to take the role, at least the armadillo, when they start slinging stones at him, he can roll up into a little ball. But oh well. We don't know at this point. Who knows? They may just drop it all together. You'll never hear about it again. They've done stuff like that before. So, but then again, they may want to get some more of that resolved before, if Jodie's leaving. And like I said, I strongly suspect she is. I wouldn't blame her. But at the same time, if she doesn't, I can't blame her either, because she only got like 30-something episodes, for her 3 seasons. Dame Edna, I'd have to look up who that is. I'm not kidding. Dame Edna Everett, never heard of that one. Either that or my brain, the hard drive's running slow today. Let's see. I like Kelly. Yeah, like I said, I've never seen her work, at least not that I remember. Chances are she was a character in some movie I've watched. I just don't remember right now. But like I said, just judging from the list of movies, television shows, she's got a whole string of awards and award nominations. I could really see her doing it. She has a, lovely face. I like the hair. Yeah, Chris Marshall. Yeah. People were trying to throw his name back into. Oh, now I know who you're talking about. Yeah. All right. Edna Everett. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Philip. That kicked it back to me. Yeah. Now I know who you're talking about. All right. I hadn't heard that name in a while. I think, because Moffat did that to us all the time. Someone said, I think the Timeless Child being the Doctor is a trick. And I've been saying that too. Depending on how you interpret it, you have to remember that, we know Rassilon's been kicked off Gallifrey. Remember, he got kicked off all the way back in Hellbent. And also, they may have left that in the Matrix. Whoever the real timeless child is, they might have left that little logic bomb in the Matrix in case somebody hacked it. And it's like, come on, the doctor's the number one person that you would put as the scapegoat because the doctor's never hardly on Gallifrey. So if you want to go looking for the timeless child, who I'm framing up to be the doctor, you got to go look for them somewhere out there in the freaking universe. So that's a possibility, like I said, or maybe he'll leave it vague. It's always a possibility. Come on, look at all the way back there in towards the end of the Seventh run, where they started dropping these little hints about how he might be a little something more than a Time Lord. But they didn't get a chance to go into it. But even if they did, they kind of left it vague. They left it up to you to fill in the gaps. So, hello, everybody who's just coming on in. Yeah, now I remember who Dame Edna Everett is, thanks to Philip there. Yeah. It's just the name that, didn't hit me. And then I was, okay, now I know who that is. Emma Thompson is sitting back collecting monies from her points off the various Harry Potter movies. I honestly don't see her doing a television series because why would she have to? Plus, I think she's out doing other ventures now. So, okay, yeah, I've heard that one about the Master too. Yeah, that he might actually be the timeless child, and that, yeah, it's some kind of disease thing. Yeah, I heard that one drifting around, and you never know. Chibnall can be just as twisted a pretzel as Moffat was. But a lot of Colin Morgan, I'd love to see. I really loved him in Merlin. Also, he has one appearance in Midnight. And he's a really good actor. I can really see him doing it. I wouldn't mind Colin Morgan as the 14th Doctor. I'd like to see that. Okay, what if the Doctor played as in? Are you talking about androgynous, Adam, or endogenous, or whatever? Or am I looking at the wrong word here? Endogenous, is that like? Oh, I'm the whole brain's just going. How's everybody doing? Sean Pertwee, I don't know. Originally, he had reservations about doing it because he's been asked that question before. No. That Chibnall got thrown out by Pete Matigue thing as a leftover from the Chaos and Cardiff thing. That was what they were saying back during the Chaos and Cardiff thing, was that Chibnall had quit. Whitaker walked off the set. Pete Matigue was being brought in to run the series, and it all turned out to be hooey. It was all hogwash. And sadly, I fell for it too, because all the people I normally talk to fell for it. Okay, androgynous. Okay, it could be, But then again, the Doctor, all through the past, before we got to the 8th, I don't think we ever saw him as being sexual in any way, be it male or female. Because it wasn't until, the 1996 movie, that Evil Abomination, happened where he snogged the companion. And not to mention, you think people were ticked off about the timeless child. I still got people ringing their bells over the damn half-human thing. But I hate to say it, but, even though Moffat also hinted at that a little bit, we now know that the Doctor, if they go with the timeless child angle, is not half-human. So they should be happy. Then again, nothing makes anyone happy anymore. Me neither. Here's the thing. There have been so many different retcons in Doctor Who that I don't know why everybody's having a cow. Because originally, okay, let's just do a brief one. Okay, I guess I could go on for hours. Originally, Omega was the stellar engineer who engineered the supernova which jump-started the time travel facility. Then later, we get the Deadly Assassin, and a little further on from that, and it was Rassilon harnessed a black hole, which is now contained under the Panopticon on Gallifrey, and all that. So right there, within the space of 2 Doctors, you had a total retcon. And the same thing happened with the Daleks. Because the Daleks were originally not from Skaro. They originally were never, I don't think they were humanoid, or if they were actually, I think they were humanoid. But originally it was the Dals and the Thals. Nuclear war happened. The Dal people devolved into this hideously mutated creature, while the Thal people went full circle and became the beautiful, statuesque beings they are now. And the Dalek creature retreated into metal shells, and they later eventually evolved in what we call. That's how it originally went. It wasn't until Terry Nation came back, and then we had Genesis of the Daleks, where Davros was created, and the whole origin story was changed around a bit. So that was technically a retcon of the whole Dalek origin story, but nobody cared. Just like originally, there was no regeneration limit. I think I've heard of Miranda Otto. Someone just brought it. Yeah, Colin Baker. Love him. Yeah, Skaro got blown up, and Remembrance of the Daleks, and boom, there it is back in the '96 movie again. Idris Elba already said he does not want to do the role. Hang on, what? Silence! It's my cast. Shouts from the peanut gallery. Okay. Now, if I really wanted to cause a stink, I'd do something simply. Is from what? Sabrina? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I remember. Miranda. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Let me look that up because, yeah, she's shouting some common sense there. Let me see what we got. Miranda Otto. Ottoman. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the auntie, from what do you call it? From Sabrina the Teenage Witch, The Chilling Adventures of. Yeah, okay, I remember that. Now that I see her image, okay, I know exactly so. I could see that. Why not? Yeah. Since I haven't watched it in a while, I just kind of lost track of it. I liked Michelle Gomez's parts, but there was just some things going on in there that, yeah. We do know the Daleks eventually, rivaled the Time Lords in technology. They could have stolen another planet and called it Skaro, because, from the stolen Earth and all that, we know that they developed magnetron technology, which, by the way, was first mentioned all the way back in the Colin Baker era during the trial of a Time Lord, when they took the entire Earth solar system and some of the constellations and shot them off to another galaxy and called the planet Ravalox, that whole thing. Roof Doctor, funniest right. Where is the Doctor from? Lex asks here. And if they're not from our universe, what universe are they from? Wouldn't it be kind of, crappy if it turns out she was from E-Space? Like Dala, somehow related to Adric. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Okay, the Ruth Doctor is what Harry was referred to. Ruth Doctor is supposedly one of the, and we got this from the little Mind Zap thing at the end of the Timeless Children. She's somewhere back there with the Morbius doctors. And a lot of people didn't realize that in the Brain of Morbius, 1976, they actually showed doctors who came before Hartnell during the mind-bending contest between the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker, and Morbius. And we all assumed those faces were the previous incarnations of Morbius. But no, we found out later that no, those were supposed to be doctors before Hartnell because they hadn't established the 12 regeneration limit. That didn't come later till Deadly Assassin. Once again, retcons. Matter of fact, the Doctor didn't even have two hearts officially until Spearhead from Space, when we saw him in the X-ray in that episode. Okay, Omega was not banished. What happened was when Omega triggered off the thing, he created the black hole. He was captured by it, but somehow he was thrown into the center or towards the center. And through a sheer act of his will, he took over the power of singularity. And he built his own universe there just by the sheer effort of his own will. You could think that if you want to, Who's Books. I don't blame you. Everybody's headcanon is different. There's some things like there's a lot of people who believe in the Series 6B theory. where allegedly Patrick Troughton's doctor, before getting shipped off to Earth, did a bunch of top secret missions for the Time Lords before his mind got zonked and they, regenerated him, and, boom, he's Pertwee. So if you want to go that route, you can too. Plus, there were other stories out there, about, all kinds of, other strange doctors and all that. And RTD mentioned in his one book adaptation about, there being a doctor in a wheelchair, a doctor with this. And then there was another short story. It's the one where the doctor goes to meet the cat nun again, and she's dying. And she thinks of all the people, what you call it, and animals and images who held the name doctor. So she went out of species. Just think, you run into a rabbit, he's a doctor, he waves a sonic carrot at you. It's like, Thank you, Mike. That's who it was. It was Novice Haim. And I can't remember the name of the story. Do you have it? Yeah, I love the Unbound series by Big Finish. Yeah, Whose Books just brought that up again. Because they really went out there in a lot of those stories. Well, he's a good writer, Jamie Matheson. Sorry, I'm just trying to get caught up with what's going on in here. All right, how's everybody doing tonight? Like I said, I was going to do a news thing, but I'm like, what really do I have to talk about? Apparently, there's supposed to be some filming in Cardiff tomorrow. There was a location up on Twitter. Okay, Doctor Who TV. I'm not sure if this is an April Fool's joke, but apparently there's talk of a Doctor Who Star Wars crossover. I don't think they'll actually do it, and I'll tell you why. Unless Disney's buying Doctor Who. Oh, I can just see that now. If you're one of them people who thinks things are screwed up now under Chibnall, just wait till Disney gets their hands on that. Oh, yes. Hey, Pluto! Let's go off the Metebelis tree. Oh, gosh. Well, the thing is, I don't think they'll ever retcon her, but one thing they'll do sometimes is, like Moffat did this a few times. He brought up a few things and never heard about it again, did you? Kevin Feige. Oh, why does that name sound familiar? Yep. Okay, then, yeah, that's what it sounded like to me, because I doubt it's ever going to happen unless Disney's buying Doctor Who. Well, look at it this way. Everyone's worst nightmare for some crazy reason was Johnny Depp as the Doctor. And I'm like, why? The man's a brilliant actor. But if Disney bought Doctor Who, that shit could have happened, but not anymore. Okay, understand the modern series came because the BBC told Big Finish they couldn't create new Doctors. Given the fact the Unbound series came to an end, which I don't know why, it was a good series. So that could be a reason. Everything has to be approved by the BBC. All scripts have to be run by the BBC before, they can go out for Big Finish. So, oh no, I can see that now. Disney buying Doctor. Oh my God. Look out, Pluto, it's Duck Voss. Oh yeah. Duck Voss. Yeah, I can see that now. Yeah, but I don't see Spielberg being tied down to anything like that. Probably one of the reasons it didn't happen. Well, the Shalka Doctor was technically supposed to be the 9th Doctor. That was back during the Wilderness years. So, yeah, Richard E. Grant, he's, I don't think he'd mind doing it. Duck Frost. So I might have to have someone to draw that. I'm no good at drawing crap. Duck Frost. Hang on, we're going to do a battery swap here. Yes, the wonders of technology. All right, let's take these out. All right, get them ready to go in the charger. Come here. Sorry, that's the best I can do. It's just... I can see that now. Trying to say Niter. That's my nightmare. That's Duck Frost. And you have like Goofy as as Niter. Wouldn't that be funny? Thank you. That's all I needed to know. Yep. Why not? Okay, we've gone as far as the doctor goes. Philip, that's a good question. What age range should they be in the 30, 40ish? Why not? That's not too old. Come on, Capaldi was like what 57 when he took the role, something like that. So 30, 40s, why not? If they want to go way younger, they could, but it's up to them. Try to bring in a younger audience. Hello, dear. I can't do Kermit. Sorry. Yay! That's about as close I get to Kermit. All right. Hello. I don't know. I just can't get the right resonance for Kermit. Yeah, I couldn't understand why they went that direction with the Great Intelligence either, but yeah, true. But you got to remember, this series is coming up on 16 years into its current incarnation. So, anything they throw out there now is going to be a trial. So, I'd love to see a Ginger Doctor finally, just to get the reaction. Yeah, the Mara. Thank you, Brent. Yeah, I'd love to see the Mara come back. I always thought they were an interesting enemy. I did ask now, Mike, many years ago, and I went and I did pay like $5 for the picture, $75 for the autograph, because Patrick Stewart was near here, somewhere here in Ohio, and I knew he was never coming back. All right, I just knew he's not coming back to Ohio again. It's not going to happen, and so far it hasn't. Now everybody at that time, just to give you an idea of what the what year range we're talking about, was asking him about X-Men. And, either that or they'd ask him about Star Trek or X-Men. It's the same two things. So I got up there to Patrick and I was like, okay, I'm going to throw something at him that I have not seen or heard a single person throw at him the whole day. And I said, so, Patrick, how come you haven't been on Doctor Who yet? And Patrick just looked up and, with that wry smile he has, he goes, probably because they never asked me. Okay, question. We got to work on that. I said we got to make sure that happens. Daisy Ridley as the Doc. No, that's not going to happen, and I'll tell you why. She probably has some clauses in her contract. Either that, or once again, she's still going to have probably, if they signed her up and gave her points, no matter where that movie, any of those movies air, she's going to be making money off it for a while. I remember when Daisy Ridley first appeared, and I wish I knew which episode, though I could remember. She was in Toast of London briefly. She was backstage at a performance for Toast. I can't remember what season. It's been too long since I watched Toast of London. But I just remember her very vividly in that. Let's go hog wild. Tracy Lords is the Doctor. Not going to happen, thank goodness. Lee Schreiber, okay. He does have the strangeness factor. Because that guy is just plain weird. You know, if you really want to drive Lady G crazy, why don't you say something crazy like Ron Perlman? She hates Ron Perlman. Oh, Patrick Stewart's doing fine. Come on, they've already got another season of Picard on the way. How many here have heard? Matter of fact, it was announced just the other day that John Delancey will be reprising his role as Q in Picard season 2. That right there really made my nipples go bing bing. I'm not kidding. It just really excited me. Also, the fact that Whoopi Goldberg's already agreed to do series 2. So it's going to be interesting to see if those two finally, get on the big, power match or whatever they're supposed to do. So that's another thing I was really sad that they dumped was by making her just an El-Aurian and all that. And I'm like, no, she was supposed to be like this, hidden character or something like that. And they really just got rid of that later, which made me angry. Okay. There, I knew she was going to say something. Christopher Walken, way too old. Walken's in his 70s now, ain't he? Yeah, John Delancey, like I said, if you really want to frighten yourself, I was rewatching a few years ago. I was watching the 1977-78 series of Battlestar Galactica. And you get to the episode, I believe it was called Experimenting on Terra. When Starbuck lands in that series on the planet Terra, he's greeted by a bunch of these lights that are supposed to be these big, like, vehicles. And then a voice speaks to him saying they represent the People's Alliance or Republic or whatever. And that's John Delancey in 1978. And that freaked me out because I'm like, wow, I know that voice. I'm like, damn. So the next time you ever watch that episode, if you go back way back in time, listen for John Delancey in the episode. It's when Starbuck lands on Terra that, yeah, he hears that. And sure enough, yeah, it is in the end credits, so it was John Delancey. Yeah, Delancey, like I said, I love him when he is playing the villain or the in that case he was kind of like a trickster more than anything as Q. I think he'd give Loki a run for his money. Kyle MacLachlan, not now. No, I don't think he doesn't have the look anymore. Yep, he was in that abomination called Miracle Day, unfortunately. Yeah, John Delancey. And I was like, I try not to remember that because so was Nana Visitor, who played Kira Nerys on DS9. And sure enough, they both wound up killed off. It's like, what is this? Some top secret hatred towards Star Trek? Oh, well. Yeah, Rowan Atkinson. Yeah, he played the Doctor in that. Yeah, The Curse of the Fatal Death. Yes, he is. He's a very nice fellow. Nah, I couldn't see Peg doing it at this point. He's too busy making movies and stuff. Also, he's still pushing, I think, for another Star Trek film after what he said about his own fans. And then they wonder why the box office plummeted from Beyond. Yep. One of my favorite episodes, too. I remember that when Q threw him out there and they first met the Borg. Yep, the etheric beam locators. They're not Dalek bumps. Yeah, a lot of people wanted Paul McGann to return, and of course the BBC said no, and they used the usual excuse that if they had more than one series, it would confuse viewers or something like that. And I'm like, closing time, I like to the end. Oh, well, not the very end. I mean, the part where, what's his name? Crap. I already forgot his name. Oh, he suddenly overwhelms the Cyberman's assimilation machine with the power of love. That part I did not like. Okay. After that, though, the little epilogue at the end I really liked. But no, that was just malarkey. I did not like that part at all. Although I'm thinking of my child, so now I can override the Cyberman's assimilation machine, which has assimilated countless billions or trillions of life forms. And nobody thought of that before. Okay, you're talking about Jeri Ryan, who played Seven of Nine. She's done some other stuff here and there. She was in Leverage, Boston Public. Of course, she was back in Picard. James Corden, thank you. Yeah, and it's not that I didn't like the character. I just didn't like that scene. Okay, I'm like, I liked, the lodger, and I liked most of the episode. I just didn't like that part where we overrode the cyber assimilation machine with the power of love. That just was garbage. It was just a throwaway there. I'm like, my goodness. I'm going to override this all-powerful Cyberman assimilation machine. Well, here's the problem. Who do you get to play the Ronnie? Jeff Mason just asked Ronnie to return. I'm like, I really wish the one rumor was true back in the day in the mirror where it was Gillian Anderson, but sadly, of course, that never happened. Either way, it was malarkey, Lex. I just don't agree with that. Yeah, how many other billions or trillions of life forms haven't thought of that? Mel Brooks is in his what now? I don't think so. Come on, that guy's got more money than God at this point. I would love it if they done it like a Paternoster Row animated series, but I don't think that's going to happen now because I don't think it's going to happen now. I mean, it's just way. Oh God, I lost my train of thought. That's bad. What do you call it? The Paternoster thing? That's right. The Paternoster series ain't going to happen because they're already doing them for Big Finish, and I don't see Big Finish, getting their license yanked for it to go back as an animated series. A lot of people have been going, why don't they animate some of the Big Finish stories? And I said, because then you're translating it from an audio medium to a visual medium, so that will require a complete renegotiation of the license, a bunch of legal malarkey and things like that. If you look on YouTube, Brent, they do have all the they've edited together all the scenes from Star Trek Borg and made it into like a movie. I remember because I had Star Trek Klingon, and I loved that thing, especially the language dictionary thing and all that they had with it. It was really fun to play around with. Sontarans were, well, the problem is the Sontarans would overwhelm the Klingons by sheer force of numbers. Because to quote Tom Baker, the Invasion of Time, Sontarans can literally replicate their numbers at that point at 1 million every 4 minutes. So even the Klingon Empire would have been overwhelmed just by sheer troops alone. Yeah, well, like I said, the Who's books, that was supposed to happen in the Sarah Jane Adventures, but sadly, Elizabeth Sladen passed. You were supposed to get Ace back in the next season, and there was talks that Sylvester McCoy was going to reprise his role as the Seventh Doctor, and there was going to be a scene where the Fourth Doctor turns up, played by Tom Baker. But it never happened, unfortunately, because when Liz died, all that went with it, which was really sad. I was glad they were able to get Katie Manning back in there as Jo Jones, aka Jo Grant, And it's funny how her nephew or whatever, Santiago, turned out to be Iron Fist, but that's a whole another story. Also, there was a comic book way back in the day, Doctor in the Enterprise. I don't know if I think it was a limited edition run or something like that. Yeah, but I remember the Assimilation series where I believe that was Doctor in Star Trek. Very true. Yeah, we got Sarah Jane and K9 back in the series. And like I said, sadly, they're the only two classic companions to reappear and reprise their roles in the modern series, which is kind of sad. I was really hoping sometime over these last 16 years, we would have seen more of other characters on the main show. You know, like Jo Jones. I'd like to have seen her back with it on the main show. She did have a brilliant scene there on Death of the Doctor with Matt Smith. I really love that conversation they had when they were on the planet, on that junkyard planet or whatever. And I thought that was a beautifully done scene. Yeah, I remember that one too. The Doctor Who Marvel. So Doctor was, or for a while there, a Marvel character. Oh heck, he was running around with a character named Death's Head. Now, Death's Head, if I remember right, he appeared in a lot of stuff. He was like multiple series. Also, he was in the Transformers series for a while, Death's Head, and then he somehow got down the human size, went off with the Doctor and all that. Yeah, and it's scary that the Sean Sheath were done by the voice of David Bradley, who became the first Doctor, so to speak. Okay, we got to. Sorry, I'm getting caught up. William Shatner is way too old to play the Doctor. Plus, by the time he completed a sentence, against a major foe, the universe would have been wiped out. Davros, you can't detonate. Activate the reality bomb. Now, that was a April Fool's Day prank, we believe. There's not going to be a crossover. You're talking about apples and oranges, way two different companies. That's Disney and the BBC. It's not going to happen. They're not going to have a Star Wars crossover. Yeah. He also did some shots with Katie Manning and all that. Yeah, Peter was a matter of fact. He met with. Also, he did meet with Carol Ann Ford, and he was dancing around the TARDIS set, saying, "We must bring her back. We must bring her back." Moffat said, "Okay, I think we can do that." The BBC said, "No, you can't." At least that's what I've been told. The BBC, for some reason, are just diehard against. Even though School Reunion was one of the highly rated episodes of the early part of the new series, they're just hardcore against classic companions appearing on the show. Matter of fact, I was told, through some friends, that it was the BBC who told Moffat you can't have any classic companions appear in the 50th. It'll confuse people. Yeah, because Mike, if they got Eccleston, the sign on the dotted line, it's only a matter of time for Capaldi signs up. Because if they, come on, Eccleston was the one Doctor I thought we would never, ever hear from again in any medium. And when they announced that, oh God, it made my wiener wiggle. It's just really like, damn. They did a Ronnie thing with Siobhan Redmond in Big Finish. Other than that, I've not heard anything about any further returns of the Ronnie. Trust me, it was sad because Kate O'Mara showed up at the Excel at the 50th anniversary. They hadn't even bothered to invite her there for the 50th. it's like, well, her character did only appear in 2 serials back in the day, but still. Yeah, I'm not going to hate you for liking Day of the Doctor. It's just, I didn't like it. That's my opinion, though, okay? I'm not going to enforce it on everybody else. It's just, I've been down that road 50 times before, and it's like, that's why it just all falls apart when you think about it logically. It just doesn't make any damn sense. They had that thing on Big Finish where there was a funeral for Sarah Jane, and they had it read by what's his name? Dudman. Yeah, and I'm like, why is Dudman reading this? Tom Baker should have read that. I'm sorry, it did not sound right coming from Dudman. I mean, ugh. It could be, yeah. That's why, the whole thing, why the Ronnie's not coming back. Rights issues play a lot. Like, even though Daphne Ashbrook and, oh, heck, now I'm going to screw up his name. And the guy who played Chang Li. And like I said, yeah, the reason why they've not appeared in Big Finish as their characters from the 96 movie is because nobody's sure who owns the rights to them. Yi Ji So, thank you. I've heard it pronounced many ways. Yi Ji So. The reason why they haven't appeared is because nobody really knows who owns the rights to them. That no one knows who owns the rights to Chang Li and Grace Holloway. They're in limbo because of all the stuff that went on, contracts and things like that. There was talks of a Rose Tyler Defender of the Year series. Russell T. Davies was actually serious about it, but it never got past, the concept phase. Yep. Very true. Bessie hasn't appeared in a long time. They have found the Who-mobile. It's been appearing at the small space shows things. Unfortunately, the engine is locked up, and I believe it was a custom engine. So it was a 3-wheeled vehicle, if I remember right. And that would be funny. Oh, well, yeah, that would have been one thing that would have made Day of the Doctor better if Bessie had been in it. I just didn't like the whole, one of the things I could not stand was you've got that security guard at the beginning of the Black Archive, right? It's my first day and all that. Actually, he's been here 20 years. And I'm sitting there thinking, and nobody had anything to say about that? Didn't this guy have a family? Didn't this guy have friends who missed him? Yet you've had him believing this is like his first day at work for over 20 years, and that's not morally questionable? Not to mention, well, all the companions have been here at one time or another. They just don't remember. What a load of bullshit. I'm sorry. It was. I'm sorry. That's not just a slight bit immoral that you've taken this whole man's life and reduced it down to one day over 20 years. But no, it had nothing to do with the date confusion of the unit series. It was that one security guard at the front. Oh, you mean the memory messer upper thing? Yeah, I think that. Yeah, you could say that. It's just they never really defined the years that took place in. So they originally said the 80s and all that, but Nicola, I don't know if she's mainly been sitting back and chilling with the dog. So I don't know if she'd go back or not. With Harvey and Marnie, the doggies. Yeah, that's why I said assimilation. because I remember I saw the covers. They had pictures of the covers out there running around. Matter of fact, one of my ideas was if they had wanted to continue the series of Sarah Jane Adventures, they could have easily renamed it something like Bannerman Road and brought in another companion to step in after Sarah's, untimely death at the hands of an alien foe or something along that line. So, like, one of the interesting plot lines I thought of was, what if, Perry Brown had come back to Earth, and you got to remember she's been living on an alien planet for like 30 years, which means she would have to totally reassimilate, to the planet Earth, and the kids could help her do that while she's, helping them, take on various adventures. Or better yet, Sophie Aldred as Ace. That would have been good. Yeah, you could have done that too. Anything would have been better than Class. Oh, sorry. It's like, yeah, I would have liked to have seen a Class season 2 so they can explain to me why the Weeping Angels would need to have another race of aliens take over control of a private academy in London. For what? It's like, what was the big intergalactic ground shaking outcome of that plot? Oh, but okay. Yeah, matter of fact, Anji Mahendra, Anji, I'm sure how to pronounce it. Very sorry. She appeared as that alien scorpion queen, this one last season. And it's like, plus she's done a lot of other roles here and there. So I don't know if that's going to happen because Eve Miles has gone on. They did finish Keeping Faith this year. But heck, you killed off Owen, you killed off Tosh, you killed off Yanto. And, Eve Miles is busy doing other things. So I'm not sure where you would go with that. Yeah, I tried listening to the Big Finish Class audio series, hoping they did a better job with it, and I just couldn't get into it. I really tried. I just couldn't do it. It's just, I want to know what that guy was smoking when he wrote that series, because the first 3 episodes were okay, and then after that, it just went right on the tubes. Went right down the tubes. What tubes? Okay, I can see that. Patch, yeah, that's why I agree. He, from what I heard, he's written some really good books. Why they had him write every single episode of a new series is beyond me. That was very rarely heard of. Well, a lot of the classic writers are pretty much retired. That's why you don't see them back. Either they're off doing their own projects now. I know they got one of them back. Heck, now I can't remember the name of the episode. Damn. It'll hit me about a half hour when it doesn't matter. The hard drive's running, but that was Catherine Kelly, if I remember right, who played Quill. She was okay. Yeah, I won't be too far behind you there, Adam. I'm going to give it about 5 more minutes, and we're going to bring this one to a close. You see, that's one thing I would have loved to have seen. We've only seen the Rutons on the show once, and that was all the way back in Horror of Fang Rock. And I would have loved to have seen the Rootens come back, because they are shape changers. That was established in that episode. You could have easily done a Rooten invasion, say for Sarah Jane Adventures or something along that line. I don't know why they didn't. Nobody wants to see a hologram of JNT. Alive or dead? Oh, wait. Would he wear his famous Hawaiian shirt or would he go with something a little more modern? That's up to you. No, don't bring back the Absorbaloof. The Pteroleptals, yeah, I like them. And the Visitation. 5th Doctor episode, that's where we lost the sonic screwdriver. And we didn't get it back till the TV movie, which is funny because if you watch the original cut of the movie, Sylvester McCoy is holding it facing the wrong way. But I think they did some clever editing on the Blu-ray version to make it look like he had the sonic screwdriver held in the right position. But when he's sealing the master into the box at the beginning, he's holding the sonic screwdriver with the main part pointed this way. He's using the handle to close the box. Go back to Vortis, and then it's invaded. I wouldn't mind seeing the Wern return, especially a new version of them, because they only could do so much with the costumes back in the day. And God forbid we're not going to bring back the green bubble wrap. Ooh, something poked me in the eye there. Okay. I'd love to see them back. I really would, especially, with a modern take on them. Better outfits or better prosthetic or even CGI would be a lot better now. One of these days, I don't remember ever having watched The Web Planet. It's one of the ones I got to get back, see if I can find it, or whatever version it's out there. Are you kidding? The Tar and Wood Beast wouldn't even look better if you'd have to put Stan Winston on that shit to get. Oh, that's right, he's dead. God, the Tar and Wood Beast was horrible. My goodness. I was halfway tempted to do a TikTok video of the Tar and Wood Beast hopping out and sit at the Brass Monkey by the Beastie Boys. Alpha Centauri, yes. I was so glad when the Empress of Mars, they got to that part at the end and there's Alpha. And it was voiced by the original actress who did the voice of Alpha way back in the day in Curse and Monster of Peladon. Belch. Well, guys, it's coming up on an hour here. Once again, like I said, hopefully we're going to have some filming news after tomorrow. And, we'll be hearing a bit more later in the week. Because, like I said, all other than Eccleston being in Doctor Who Magazine and a bunch of other small stuff, Dalek Sex up for auction. There wasn't a really whole lot going on this past week. And it's like, I don't like just going on here and spieling unless I got something to give you. And, I figure I'd take back, relax, enjoy the time. He's the timeless something, but he ain't the timeless child. Huh? Okay. So I'm going to go on and get out of here. Everybody, please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. remember, even though there's a vaccine, COVID's still running around out there. So you're not free of the masks yet. Wash your hands, observe your social distancing, and I don't know, use a condom. I don't know. Take care. All right. Good night, everyone. Oh.